This is Understanding U.S. Government. I'm your host, Mr. Giese. In this episode, we'll be discussing public opinion and how to measure it. Hopefully, you have already gathered the information regarding the definition of what public opinion is. If not, that definition is this: the attitudes held by a significant number of people on matters of government and politics. However, how do we gather this information and know what the public opinion is? Is this information accurate? How do we know? Let's try to answer those questions now. There are a couple ways to measure public opinion on whatever the topic may be. The first one would be by asking every single person in the population. We do this several times, but it doesn't give anyone time to adjust to adopt the public opinion into their stance. This type of measurement would be in an election, and it is probably the most accurate way to gauge public opinion. The second would be in the media. Whether it is one person or numerous people, the media can play a role in gauging public opinion in the stories that they report on or information they relay to the public through news channels and radio broadcasts. The third would be through personal contact. Public officials have face-to-face contacts every day with people, and through these conversations could get a gauge on what the attitude of the public is off of these contacts. These could also be in the form of email, phone calls, or letters, if anyone ever writes those anymore. Fourth would be public opinion being measured through interest groups. These groups are very interested in making their views and their members' views known. They will go and do research and then report these findings on their group's behalf to public officials through phone calls, email, or by letters. However, how many people do these groups really represent? That can be tough, but it is a way of measuring public opinion nonetheless. Finally, and the most important, at least for our discussion, is scientific polls. There are opinion polls that have been systematically and scientifically developed to give the best representation of the entire population's attitude from a smaller sample size on a specific topic. In order to ensure that this is an accurate representation, there is a deliberate process that one must follow. First, the developer needs to define the universe. This is putting into numbers the entire population of the group that you want to measure. Think of a pizza. When defining the universe, you must take into account all of the ingredients: the pepperoni, cheese, sauce, anything else you might want to put on that pizza. All of this makes up the pizza and must be taken into account, just like every other person in your population or the universe. Second, a sample must be constructed. In keeping with our pizza analogy, we do not need to eat the whole pizza to know what it tastes like. Yes, I know. I want to eat the whole pizza as much as you do, but you don't have to eat the entire pizza to know if it is good or bad, or what ingredients are in it. One slice will do. In a scientific poll, a well-constructed sample needs to be made first. The developer must make sure that every element of the universe is included to be a representative sample. You would want to have all of the ingredients on one slice of pizza in order to judge if it were good or not. The same goes for a representative sample. You need to make a sample that is a good representation of the entire universe. Third, the developer needs to create questions. This can be tricky. Not any set of questions will do. The creator needs to make sure that they are valid and do not contain any bias. This could lead the respondent to answer a question a certain way and have a negative impact on your results. Think about this question. Freedom of speech is a guaranteed right in the Constitution, and legislation should not be made to corrupt that, right? This would lead you into an answer, and scientific polls do not want that. The fourth step would be where the developer would need to decide on how the poll would be administered. They would have them take it on the internet, in person, or by phone. There can be a combination of any of these three, and from this they would collect the results. And finally, once it's been taken, the results need to be analyzed. From the information gathered, a political campaign can gauge what the public feels is important, and from there they can modify, change, or adapt their political stance with those results in mind. And if they are accurate, this could be a great opportunity to gather more votes and win an election. As useful and scientific as these may seem, there are some limits to the measurements of scientific opinion polls. We will discuss three of them. 1. Intensity, or the strength of someone's opinion on the question. How strong someone feels on a topic could impact the way that they represent their views. 2. Stability. or the changeability of their opinion. Is this their opinion that will not change forever, or will they change it as soon as you tabulate the results? If this is the case, it will be difficult to gauge how their opinion will change or not change. And the third, relevance, or whether or not this is something that is important to them or not. If they don't care, there won't be a whole lot of effort or thought given to the answer. Because of these limits, pollsters know that there is some room for error. However, using a scientific poll, or another way of measuring a public opinion, this could give insight for someone trying to figure out what the public opinion is.